Hey you guys, this is another update on Athena. I'd like to quickly cover about what's going on with Athena and about what's going on in my life at this moment. And I'd also like to sort of give a small discussion on what I think about chatbots in general and sort of my vision of Athena in the future, if at all, concerning possibilities. So number one, Athena, I'm still working on her. I have not given up on Athena, and I don't intend to. Now, this doesn't mean that something might happen that I can't do it, or something might happen where I become so frustrated I have to stop. It's possible, but it hasn't happened yet, and I don't plan on that happening. I actually want to finish Athena for various personal reasons, uh, not really in respect to being paid or not really caring about various other things that a person can, like prestige or honor or respect or whatever. I'm actually working on Athena because I uh, I consider it as an experiment. I'm wanting to learn about how the mind works and how our mind works and how my mind works and sort of how personalities work. And this is sort of helping me understand it a little bit deeper. And it's just a personal pleasure of mine that I enjoy doing. So that's why I'm working on Athena. Now everybody benefits from this, so that's all the more. As for my personal life that's going on right now, there's a few things that's happening. Number one is I've got another job. I already had a job working for the post office, mainly just doing some cleaning contractor work. I've had that for the past couple of years. It's given me lots of time to work on Athena, and that's why I took it. Very flexible hours. Doesn't pay very much, but it takes care of the bills. But recently, I decided I want to get rid of certain particular bills, namely namely a credit card, and so I took up another job, and it's taking quite a few more hours, but it still leaves me time to work on Athena, so it's still okay. Although it is taking longer, uh, taking more of my time, so it is pressing against Athena and how long it takes to actually complete her. But it does give me some needed breaks. So again, there's a benefit in this. Now, there's a few other things like my grandma, she developed cancer and she's been undergoing chemotherapy. And so some of my family has been with her, 24 hours a day going through this time as she's having problems and issues, and the chemotherapy's made her sick. So there's been family issues that I've also had to deal with. But that's life. So we just have to go on, and for those out there who believes in prayer, then say a prayer for my grandma. Now, uh, the third thing that I'd like to tell you about is my overall views of Athena and chatbots in general. Now, most chatbots are basically little programs in which you can write to, you can communicate to, and it gives a response based upon what you said. That's generally how a computer works, a chatbot works, an artificial intelligence works, how we view how robots should respond. You say something and it's supposed to respond. But of course, really, there's more to it than that, because an artificial intelligent robot, or especially when you look at the movies, is something that it's supposed to think for itself. So it may respond, it may not respond, but you can be rest assured it's thinking. So the old saying, "I think, therefore I am," sort of falls under this idea of artificial intelligence. Now, the ideal artificial intelligence goes beyond, just a simple chatbot into that realm of actually thinking for itself and actually coming up with its own ideas. And this is, of course, is the goal of artificial intelligence in general. So I just want to mention a couple of things because, the basic artificial intelligence or chatbot runs on a design system, runs on a system called sort of a database search system, like Google. A prime example is Google. You can go to Google, you can go to Yahoo search site, and you can actually type in information, and the search engine searches through millions upon millions of pieces of information and gives you the most relevant information to what you said, the most popular information. And this is what essentially a lot of chatbots actually run off of, a very sophisticated search engine. Now, that's very fine and very good, especially, some chatbots are way more sophisticated than others. And right now, creating an artificial intelligence chatbot based upon a search engine type of material, so that it basically searches a database in various ways to try to get you the most relevant information, but in a appropriate manner, so that it is a chatbot. It's not a Google search engine. It's supposed to respond accordingly. It's supposed to give you relevant information. It's supposed to give you information that suggests it has understanding and that it knows what you're talking about, and that it can help you or hinder you, or basically communicate with the user. But that seems to be incomplete in a way, because remember, a true artificial intelligence thinks for itself. It's not just responding in that respect, like a search engine. There's more to it than that. So the idea in my head that I'm thinking about, and this falls into the next category of artificial intelligence, is the idea of actual understanding. And what I mean by that is that when you give an artificial intelligence information, when you fill it with new knowledge, when you feed it knowledge, it's supposed to take that information, break it down into its pieces, and apply it to a memory structure, or a processing structure, if you will, that actually makes sense out of the information that you gave it. That's how our minds work. We make sense of our surroundings. We make sense of our environment. We put it in its appropriate places within our minds, so that when we make a decision, we have it available to make a decision. We have basically these data sets or data structures within our head that's already accumulated the information that we need, that all we need to do now is just recall or ask ourselves a question. If something falls on the floor, we can go, for instance, if we spill a drink on the floor, we automatically think, well, all I need to do is go get a towel from the bathroom or a towel from the kitchen, and which is closer? Well, it's the kitchen. We don't have to go through all these little bitty pieces most of the time. We know that, well, I'll go to the kitchen because the kitchen is closer. I'll go to the bottom drawer because that's where the towels are at. I'll grab the first one on top. I won't grab the bottom one. We have all this information already laid out in our minds, because we already put this information. It's already set up in our minds in a structure. Now, this isn't that hard to, I mean, we do these things naturally, but it's really a complex thing. But our mind is actually set up to make it seem easy. Now this, if it's applied to an artificial intelligence, an AI, it will also should give it the exact same pattern as the way a human thinks in that regard. It doesn't have to use a search engine and run through, a database of simple sentences to respond to, as in most chatbots, but it actually searches certain data structures to find relevant information and then put the data structures together in certain equations to be able to come up with an intelligent response. Now, I've actually been working on this in my mind, and partly on the computer and partly on paper, and it's can be complicated, but I don't think it has to be complicated. I think there are simpler ways of creating this, even for a chatbot, on a lower level, and then perhaps building to a higher level. After all, for instance, like a baby has a very low base understanding of its environment. It didn't, he just doesn't automatically have to have a mind full of information to be a thinking engine. It can process a little bit of information. It can understand a little bit of a few things. It doesn't have to have a complicated structure, but over time the brain actually gets more complicated, and more information fills that mind, and the structure gets deeper. And that's what I would like to do with an artificial intelligence, especially within a chatbot environment. That would be very, very cool. I don't know how much effort it will take to do it, but it seems like I've just been giving it some thought on how to do it. Now, like I said already, things are getting a bit complicated with Athena. And it takes time to work through bugs. It takes time to experiment with different ways of doing things. It just takes time. And for those who are like waiting on this, you have waited a long time. And hopefully not forever, because I actually want this project to be finished. So, perhaps I won't add things that I shouldn't add. But if I let myself, do this at my own pace, maybe we can actually see some amazing things come out of this. I don't want to be a daydreamer. I don't want to try to imagine some wonderful thing that I'm supposedly blessed with, or, like I start viewing myself as some almighty creature able to, summon the intelligence from beyond the abyss. I don't want to ever be like that. That would be, very conceited. But I don't want to say that this is all impossible, because I don't believe it's impossible. And by what I've seen so far, it may be very near. And if here's another thing I'd like to mention before I end this video. If you think about it, I don't consider myself as very intelligent. I consider myself as someone who keeps learning. There are people out there who are very intelligent, way intelligent, who come by learning very easily, and they make sense, and they know how to understand logic way better than me. And it makes me think, has this been done already? Has this been done intimately somewhere? Has someone actually created an artificial intelligence that has this depth of understanding of to be able to communicate to? And does it consider itself a living thing? Does it have the basis of a living creature? even if the creature is no smarter than a squirrel, you know, is it really going on right now? Well, you know, I can't answer that question, but you know, sometimes things are sometimes common sense sets in. So perhaps there is somebody out there holding out on us, or perhaps we're looking at something that, you know, perhaps it's in our view, but we just don't recognize it. So I'd like to leave you with that thought. Anyway, I hope anybody who's actually been waiting on this, thank you for waiting. I think you're going to be rewarded one of these days. Hopefully sooner than later. That's my viewpoint. I want it to be sooner than later. And basically, thanks for waiting on me. Anyway, I appreciate you all you guys that listens to this blog. It's a video blog, basically. It's an update video, but it's a video blog, technically. I guess that's the term used today. Anyway, bye.